Hey there, welcome back to Midlife and Glowing. I'm Alicia.
And I'm Nicole, and today we're talking all about Healthy Aging Month, which is September if you didn't know. This is the perfect time to have this conversation because the choices we make right now in midlife can really shape how we feel in the decades ahead.
Exactly. And I think it's so important to say up front, healthy aging isn't about trying to look 25 again. It's about staying vibrant, active, and engaged in your life as you get older.
Right. It's about keeping your energy up, your brain sharp, your body strong, and really enjoying these years. So today we're going to share the 5 pillars we believe are the foundation for aging well, plus some practical tips you can start using right away. Midlife is kind of the launch pad for the next chapter of our lives. What we do now, how we eat, move, rest, and manage stress directly impacts things like muscle mass, bone density, cognitive function, and heart health later on.
And it's so easy to put this stuff off, right? Like you think, oh, I'll start paying attention later. But later is now. Perimenopause and menopause bring so many changes. Hormone shifts, metabolism slows, recovery takes longer. And we can either let that happen to us or we can be proactive.
Yes, exactly. And the good news is there's so much we can do to support our bodies. These years are the best window to start or restart habits that help prevent chronic diseases, cognitive decline, and loss of independence later on.
And it's not just physical health. Mindset plays a huge role too. When you start seeing aging as an opportunity to get stronger, wiser, and more confident, it shifts the whole aging experience.
So when it comes to healthy aging, we know it can feel like there's a million things you should be doing.
Exactly, which is why we like to simplify it. Instead of getting lost in all the noise, we've narrowed it down to 5 key areas, what we'll call the 5 pillars of healthy aging.
Think of these as your foundation. If you focus on building habits in these 5 areas, you're covering the big things that truly move the needle for how you look, feel, and function, not just now, but in the years to come.
Okay, let's dive on into these pillars. Pillar 1, movement and strength.
Yes, here's the deal. Muscle mass naturally declines with age, and so does bone density. Resistance training, things like weights, resistance bands, or even body weight exercises are your best defense.
And it's not just about looking toned, although that's nice. It's about being strong enough to do what you love for as long as you can, whether that's picking up grandkids, traveling, or just carrying in your groceries without struggling. You know, it's funny. I just saw on social media this fellow was interviewing older people, and he said, "What is something that you wish you would have done when you were younger?" And everybody answered travel because some people have gotten to the point where they're not taking care of their aging bodies, so they can no longer travel. So,
Right.
if we are taking care, then we can travel, into our later years.
Definitely. And what you said too about just carrying in the groceries without struggling, that makes me think of not too long ago, Chris and I were out on a walk and we saw an older man pushing his walker and trying to carry in his groceries. Like he had one of those walkers that it didn't have wheels on it. It was one that you have to like pick up and move and, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
And he was trying to balance this box of groceries on his walker as he's like picking it up and moving and inching along. And he ended up dropping his box of groceries because he wasn't nimble. He wasn't able to move around as well. And, we brought his groceries in and everything. He was really gracious. But noticing those kinds of things really motivates you to stay active now so that you can be active and independent for as long as possible.
Absolutely.
And while strength training is amazing, we've also talked in our exercise episode how women over 50 could benefit from jump training to improve bone density. And then I also encourage women to include balance mobility work, yoga and Pilates, or even simple balance exercises because fall prevention later in life starts right now. Statistics show that 1 in 3 older adults who experience a hip fracture will die within a year. 30% of people that experience hip fracture will die within a year.
Oh my gosh.
So this is it's serious. This is no joke. We have to be taking care of our bodies right now. And then walking is another amazing form of movement with really great benefits for your heart, your mental health, so many aspects of your health. And remember the statistics we shared in our brain health episode last week, that walking just 7,000 steps per day as compared to 2,000 steps per day reduces your risk of dementia by 38%, cardiovascular disease by 25%, 28% fewer falls, and nearly 50% lower risk of early death. Like, these statistics are pretty astounding. We have to be moving our bodies, as they say, keep moving so that you can stay moving.
Wow, those statistics are crazy.
Yeah.
It really is like we're not trying to scare anyone, but it's
No.
just like to bring awareness about.
Yeah, you have to know these things because if you don't know, it's so easy to just brush it off and think
Right.
it's no big deal and push off the things that are important now. Your future self will thank you for taking charge of your health at this stage of your life so that you can enjoy that stage of your life. That's the
Right.
whole point here.
Right.
Yeah.
And if you're one that likes to sit and watch TV in the evening or, like sit and watch your
Yeah.
shows or read a book or whatever, like get a walking pad and put it in front of your TV. Or you can read a book while you're on your walking pad. I've even done meetings on my walking pad. Like,
Sure.
you don't need to miss out on the watching TV if that's what you want to do. Reading a book, like you can still be active to reach your goals, your
Yeah.
movement goals, while doing
Right.
other things. Me and my multitasking. But it's just those statistics are just wild. Like it really makes you want to take action. I know
Yeah,
for me, personally,
definitely.
get off my ass and get on my walking pad.
Get working. Yeah.
And I love walking. I actually
yeah.
recently added in a weighted vest, and I'll go on my walking pad on an incline with my weighted vest. And I've been really loving to pair that with my strength training. I'll do my strength training first, and then I'll go into walking on the incline with my weighted vest. So, what are the added benefits to using a weighted vest?
Yeah, that's awesome. The cool thing about weighted vests is that they offer an opportunity to improve the bone density in your spine. So, other forms of weight training improve bone density, but typically in your arms and legs or wherever the muscles that they are working attach to. So, things like rebounding or using a weighted vest while walking, and then jump training, those are all ways that you can increase bone density in your spine too. So the benefit of using a weighted vest would be for improving bone density in your spine, which traditional weight training isn't as helpful for. Not to mention the added cardiovascular benefit too for moving your body with additional weight.
Right. And I'll just mention too that there are different weights on the weighted vest. So if you're just getting started, maybe start with the lighter weight. I'm personally using a 12-pound weighted vest, and I'm finding that to be, really comfortable for me right now. But, I've been exercising for years and pretty active with my walking. So maybe you want to start with something less, or if you have been more active, that might be a good spot for you to start.
And this is something to think about as well. I know you're comfortable with where you've been, and we've talked about, paying attention to your back too. But for people that use a weighted vest, maybe not starting on something like a walking pad or a treadmill, getting outside and using it outside, because the fact that the ground is moving beneath you does add in another factor. And for people that don't have great core strength, because it does change your posture dynamics a little bit when you're walking on a moving surface, and that can increase a little bit of stress in your upper back, neck, lower back. So with a weighted vest, starting outside on solid ground, and then as you're comfortable, moving to something like a walking pad or a treadmill, if that feels good for you and you're comfortable doing that and you feel good with your biomechanics and your posture and you're not experiencing any pain, that would be great. But those are wonderful, and they're such wonderful ways to support bone density in your spine during perimenopause and menopause.
Right. And just always check in with your body. Make sure you're really
Absolutely.
paying attention to where you're at when you're incorporating something new.
Definitely.
Okay, let's move on to the next one. Pillar 2, nutrition.
When we talk about nutrition for healthy aging, we're really talking about how to nourish your body in a way that helps you stay strong, energized, and resilient, especially in midlife when your needs change. One of the biggest things to focus on, protein. It's not just for bodybuilders. Protein is essential for maintaining muscle mass, supporting your metabolism, and keeping your bones strong. And because women naturally lose muscle as we age, something called sarcopenia, we actually need more protein than we might have needed in our 20s or 30s.
And I know for a lot of women, protein is the thing they skip without even realizing it. I was definitely guilty of this because meat sometimes grossed me out and I didn't substitute with other proteins. But it makes such a difference, and not just for your muscles, but for keeping blood sugar stable and that affects your mood and energy. And it helps you feel fuller longer, which makes it easier to keep your blood sugar stable and avoid that 3 p.m. crash. Getting enough protein even benefits your skin. And if anything has a benefit for my skin, I'm definitely interested.
Yes, likewise. Definitely. I would say in working with women over the years on nutrition, shortchanging protein is such a common issue. So that definitely needs to be a focus in midlife. So let's talk about some of the best high protein foods to include. Eggs. They're a complete protein, plus they have choline for brain health, and use the whole egg. I know sometimes people are concerned about eating the yolk because there's cholesterol in it. Don't be afraid of the yolk. There are really good B vitamins and nutrients inside the yolk too. So the whole egg. Greek yogurt or skyr, they're great for gut health and calcium. Cottage cheese, slow digesting casein protein to keep you fuller. Chicken, turkey, lean beef, these are rich in iron and B vitamins. Salmon and tuna, they also have omega-3s for heart and brain health. Lentils, chickpeas, black beans, quinoa, nuts and seeds. These are all great plant-based sources of protein, plus they're also good sources of fiber. And then protein powders. They're a convenient way to fill in the gaps.
Yeah, I like to start my day with protein. I'll put a scoop of my protein powder in my coffee in the morning, and because I like to start my day with my cup of coffee, decaf, of course.
Yeah.
But it's an easy way to start the day getting that protein, and I think that's how you want to start your day.
Yeah, definitely. That's wonderful. I think a lot of women are used to kind of skipping breakfast or going right into their workout, but it really is, it really is best for women to have some source of protein or some source of fuel before you go into your workout. So that's a really easy way to do it.
Yep, it really doesn't get much easier than that. And I can't eat right away in the morning. It's just like,
Yeah.
I was never a big breakfast person. I'm getting better now, but it's, an easy way to kind of ease into thinking about breakfast.
Yeah, it's an easy way to nourish your body and so that you're not missing out, right?
Right. Okay, and another thing most of us don't get nearly enough of is fiber. And fiber isn't just about digestion. It's a powerhouse for heart health, blood sugar balance, and even longevity.
Yes, exactly. Fiber helps feed your good gut bacteria, which plays a role in everything from immune function to hormone metabolism. The sweet spot for women is to aim for about 25 to 35 grams a day, which you can get from vegetables, fruits, nuts and seeds, legumes, whole grains, and resistant starches like cooked and cooled potatoes and rice also function like fiber in the gut, supporting a healthy microbiome.
And the cool thing is that when you focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods, like lean proteins, colorful produce, whole grains, you're naturally boosting both your protein and your fiber intake.
Yes, and those two together are a powerhouse for healthy aging. Protein supports your muscle and bones, while fiber keeps your gut, hormones, and heart happy. And focusing on anti-inflammatory foods like colorful fruits and vegetables, omega-3 rich fish, nuts, seeds, olives, avocados, these can help protect your brain and joints. Healthy fats are also essential for hormone production and brain health, which if you listened to last week's brain health episode, we covered in more detail.
Okay, moving on to pillar 3, rest and recovery. Is it thundering?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. It's really
It's really
kicking
happening over here.
All right, Mother Nature might be making an appearance on this episode here. This is one I think so many women overlook. Rest and recovery are not lazy, they're essential. And I'm definitely guilty of not carving out enough time to do this myself. I really just don't relax well.
Yeah, you're not alone. I would agree. This is a significantly overlooked pillar and really easy for people to brush off and just kind of power through with that chronic stress and just that go, go, go attitude. But we really do need to focus in on our rest and recovery. If movement and nutrition are the building blocks of healthy aging, rest and recovery are what actually let those benefits stick. You can eat all the protein in the world and crush your workouts, but if you're not allowing your body to repair, you're missing half of the equation. So this is absolutely crucial. Stress management, nervous system regulation, rest, recovery, these are necessary. I can't stress enough how much of a problem ignoring this can be and how powerful giving it attention can be. It really needs to be a priority. And a big piece of that is prioritizing quality sleep. It's basically the master reset button for your brain and body. During deep sleep, your muscles repair, your hormones rebalance, and your brain literally clears away waste. Most women in midlife need 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep. But between hormone changes, stress, and busy schedules, that's often easier said than done.
And so this is where good sleep hygiene comes in. Things like keeping a consistent bedtime, turning off screens before bed, or switching them to night mode, using blue light blocking glasses in the evening, mouth taping, and keeping your bedroom cool. Little tweaks can make a big difference. But here's the thing, rest and recovery don't stop when you get out of bed. Sleep is the foundation, but your body and mind also need moments of recharge during the day. So think of it as micro recovery, little pauses that prevent you from running on empty until bedtime.
Yes, exactly. A few examples of ways to do that include going for a walk, yoga nidra, meditation, deep breathing, getting sunlight, journaling, just taking a minute to pause and check in with yourself, reading, taking a bath. These are all great ways to allow your body that time for rest and recovery. And then there's also active recovery. Instead of powering through a really intense workout, if your muscles are sore, if you're not feeling well, active recovery is doing gentle activities that actually help your body bounce back from more intense workouts. This could be walking, stretching, restorative or yin yoga, or even spending time in nature. These activities improve circulation, lower inflammation, and help you come back stronger the next day.
And finally, we can't forget stress recovery. When you're constantly in go mode, your body stays in a fight or flight state, and this drains your energy and messes with your hormones. So taking intentional breaks, whether it's 5 minutes of deep breathing, a quick meditation, or simply sitting outside in the sunshine, this helps reset your nervous system.
Yes, recovery is not laziness, it's part of the process. Professional athletes build it into their training plans because they know their performance depends on it. And the same is true for us. Midlife is about playing the long game, and recovery is what lets you keep showing up stronger year after year.
So if you've been pushing hard without rest, think of this as your reminder to slow down and let your body rebuild, because that's really where the magic and the healthy aging really happen.
Yes. Pillar 4 is mental and emotional wellness. This one closely relates to the rest and recovery pillar, but it is different, and it's just as important as the physical stuff. Chronic stress literally accelerates aging.
Right? And midlife can be a really high stress season. You might be juggling your career, your kids, your aging parents, and your own health challenges all at one time.
Yeah, that's why we need tools for managing stress. Things like meditation, breath work, journaling, therapy, creative hobbies. And let's not underestimate the power of connection. Social interaction supports brain health, mood, and even longevity. We talked about this a little bit in our last episode on brain health.
Right? And connection doesn't have to mean big social events. Hello, social anxiety. But it can be just coffee with a friend, a phone call, or joining a group where you share a common interest. You know, as a person that does not like to talk on the phone, shocker, when I get in the car, that's when I want to be making my phone calls, because it's like, what else are you going to be doing? And I remember Dad always checking in on people when he was in the car. So I think that habit has kind of flowed into the rest of us. You could also join a group where you share a common interest, maybe a book group or a Bible study group.
Yes, definitely. Going for a walk with a friend, doing anything that makes you laugh. This is another great one. This pillar is more about joy and connection, which are so incredibly important for healthy aging.
Yeah, I love laughing. Like,
Me too.
Live, laugh, love.
It's so good.
Okay.
Have you seen those? That makes me think of those Progressive commercials. I have a thing with commercials. I really enjoy like silly, goofy commercials. And the Progressive commercials where it's like, you don't want to be your parents. And the guy, have you seen those? You know what I'm talking about?
I don't watch TV.
So there's these commercials where this older man, he's got like the whole sweater vest thing on over a button-down shirt. And he's like acting basically as a therapist to this group of people, you know, how not to be your parents. And this woman had like a fanny pack on and she was dressed 80s like her mom, would have been dressed. And she had this sign that says live, laugh, love in her house. And the guy was like, nope. He threw it in the garbage.
Oh my gosh. I'm sure I
Uh,
have one of those signs somewhere. I was
oh
noticing as I
man.
was in the kitchen, I have a lot of like word signs like simply blessed, which I love. And, like my salt and pepper, say salt and pepper. My flour jar, which is clearly flour because it's clear. I have flour on that. Same with my sugar. It's like
Lots of labels.
so many labels and signs and words. And I know I have a live, laugh, love, but I don't think I ever put that up when we moved into this house.
Mom does have a lot of signs like that too in her house. Also, I think just in general, we've talked about this, how we just like positive
Mm-hmm.
quotes. So it's just kind of something that you're drawn to when you
Yep.
see a message that you're like, that you resonate with. So I like
Yep.
it. I
Oh,
think it's
I have
fun.
another one in my kitchen. It's a good day to have a good day.
Oh, that's a good one.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one.
Love that
It
one.
always is.
Yep.
Yep.
All right. Moving on to the last pillar, proactive care. This is the stuff future you will really thank you for.
Yes, schedule your screenings, your yearly checkups and blood work, colonoscopies, bone density scans, dental appointments, all the things you need to do to make sure that you're taking care of your health.
And have a good checkpoint of where you are from
Yes,
year to year.
definitely.
And also make sure you're advocating for yourself. If something feels off, don't let it slide. Ask questions, get a second opinion if you need to.
You are the CEO of your own health, and the sooner you take ownership of it, the more empowered you'll feel, and the better your health will be in the long run.
Okay, we also want to answer a few questions about aging well. The first one, is it too late to start if I haven't been taking care of myself?
Absolutely not. It is never too late to start. Your body is incredibly adaptable, even in midlife and beyond. It just makes me think of that. I think in our exercise episode about that grandmother
Oh,
that
yeah.
started lifting weights. I don't know. Was she in her 50s? Or maybe
So
she
I
was,
think
I
she
don't
was in her
know.
70s.
She was in her
Yeah.
70s when she started lifting weights. And you see a picture of this woman and you're like, oh my goodness,
Yeah.
she looks like she's been lifting weights for her whole life, right?
She's doing bodybuilding competitions and winning them.
Oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, it's really coming down here. Sorry about the thunder, everyone. But yeah, that's so amazing and such a great example that it is never too late. We now know from research that healthy changes, whether it's in your diet, your activity level, your sleep, or your stress habits, can start making a difference in a matter of days to weeks, no matter your age.
Right. And it's so easy to fall into that, well, I should have started that years ago to make a difference mindset. But that just keeps you stuck. You can't change the past, but you can absolutely influence your future. Think of your body like a savings account. The earlier you invest, the better, yes. But even if you start now, those deposits will compound over time.
Exactly. Things like building muscle, improving your cardiovascular fitness, supporting your brain health, even improving your hormone balance, these benefits happen at every stage of life when you start showing up for yourself consistently.
And the best part, you don't have to overhaul your entire life to see results. You can start small, add more protein to your meals, get outside for a daily walk, go to bed 30 minutes earlier. I'm speaking to myself. Go to bed earlier. You can do it. These small, consistent steps send a powerful message to your body. We're prioritizing health now, and your body responds.
Your future self is going to thank you for anything you start today. Even one small shift can create ripple effects. So, no, it's never too late. The best time to start was yesterday, but the second best time is right now.
Okay, another one. Do supplements really make a difference?
This is such a great question, and the short answer is yes, supplements can make a difference, but they're not magic pills. Think of them exactly as they are, a supplement to a healthy lifestyle, not a replacement for the basics like good nutrition, quality sleep, movement, and stress management. Those have to be number one, and then supplements are a great addition to that.
Right. And if the foundation isn't there, supplements are like trying to decorate a house with a crumbling foundation, right? Pretty, but not effective. That said, in midlife, certain nutrients become harder to get enough of through food alone, or our bodies just don't absorb them as well as they used to. So that's where supplements can help fill in those gaps.
Yes, exactly. For example, vitamin D deficiency is super common, especially if you're not getting consistent sun exposure. And vitamin D plays a huge role in bone health, immune function, and even mood. Magnesium is another one I recommend a lot for midlife women because it supports sleep, nervous system regulation, muscle recovery, so many different aspects. Magnesium is actually required in over 300 different enzymatic reactions in your body. So it's really crucial, and it is something that tends to be deficient in our diet, whether it's through soil depletion of those nutrients, so your food doesn't have as much because of that soil depletion. And then also, especially when you are in a stressed state, your body actually cycles through a lot of these nutrients, including magnesium, quicker. So it is something that tends to be a little bit more deficient in midlife women.
Okay, and let's not forget omega-3s for heart and brain health, or collagen for supporting joints, skin, and connective tissues. And this one I personally love because I do not like fish. So I like the idea of being able to take a supplement to fill in that gap. Even something like a high quality protein powder can make it easier to hit your daily protein goals, which is key for maintaining muscle as we age. As I said before, I like to add it into my coffee in the morning because it's super easy and it helps me start the day with that hit of protein.
That's perfect. And that's a perfect example of using supplements how we should be using them to fill in gaps and support a healthy lifestyle. And when it comes to even a multivitamin, it's just good insurance to protect your body and fill in those nutrient gaps that tend to be missing from our food. But the key with supplements is quality and personalization. Not all supplements are created equal, and not everyone needs the same thing. Ideally, you would work with a healthcare provider to check your nutrient levels or look at your symptoms before starting anything new. And that said, if you're looking for nutrition support, we do have nutrition services available. So if you need support there, you can find the link to book an appointment in the show notes.
Okay, next question. This is a big question midlife women have. How can I boost my metabolism now that it's slowed down?
Well, here's the good news. It's possible. Your metabolism is adaptable even in your 40s and 50s. The key is to focus on the levers that have the biggest impact at this stage of life, which are blood sugar regulation, stress management to regulate your cortisol, and smart exercise. The first is blood sugar regulation. When your blood sugar is spiking and crashing all day, it can make your body more likely to store fat and less efficient at burning it. Balancing your meals with protein, healthy fats, and fiber helps keep those blood sugar swings in check, which supports a steadier metabolism. And really honing in on that protein is crucial. The second is stress management. High chronic cortisol from ongoing stress can lead to increased fat storage, especially around the midsection, while also breaking down muscle tissue. That's a double whammy for your metabolism. Tools like breath work, yoga nidra, walks outside, or simply building in downtime during your day help regulate cortisol and protect that lean muscle. And the third is smart exercise. In midlife, strength training should be your foundation. 3 to 4 times per week to build and maintain muscle, because muscle is your metabolic engine. Then add 1 or 2 days of high intensity interval training, which has been shown to boost metabolic rate for hours after your workout. And of course, weave in daily movement so you're not sitting for most of the day. That might mean aiming for 7,000 to 10,000 steps a day, but even breaking up your sitting every 30 to 60 minutes with short movement breaks can make a big difference. Think of it this way. Protein, muscle, and movement are the pillars that keep your metabolism humming in midlife. And when you pair that with balanced blood sugar and lower stress, you're giving your body every reason to stay efficient, energized, and strong.
And if you're overwhelmed, what's the number one habit to start with?
Pick the easiest win for you. You know yourself best and you know where you're struggling, right? So that might mean going to bed 30 minutes earlier.
Yep, I need to do that.
Adding a daily walk or drinking more water. We always come back to those 1% changes. Start with something that you can be consistent with, even if it's small, because those small habits done consistently make a big difference. But I would say most people know kind of where their weaknesses are or the big areas where they could use the change. Start there and make one small change in that department and then go from there.
Right, just dedicate your energy on just that one change until you've mastered it. What do they say? It takes 3 weeks to make a habit?
Yeah, something like that, like 20 some days. Actually, I think James Clear does talk about that in his book, Atomic Habits, that it's not as cut and dry as that. Like he said, sometimes it's even up to 60 days it can take. But,
Over time,
Being,
you'll get
yeah,
there.
over time, being consistent with it, right? Whether it's 20 days or 60, you'll get there.
Right.
So for a lot of women, that's, focusing on stress and recovery. That's a big one that I think is a major area where women in midlife struggle, and something that is super crucial to get right because of the impact that high cortisol and all of the things that come with stress can have on your body. I know at some point we've shared the statistic that 75 to 90% of illness is due to activation of the stress response. So if we can be focusing on that, I think that's a good one. So pick what's easiest for you and go to what you know you need to focus on, but identify if that's an area, because if it is, maybe that is a good place to start for you.
Right. And I think sometimes you don't even realize how much
Yeah.
it's impacting you. I've shared a few personal stories over our episodes too, with personally things that I, had dealt with after being super stressed out. And I didn't even realize. Like, I even went to the doctor and they're like, you're dealing with stress. You're burning the candle at both ends. I'm like, no, I'm fine. Really, I'm fine. It's something's wrong with me. And there was nothing wrong with me except an overloaded schedule. So, you know, it's really important to kind of take a step back and really like being an outsider looking in at your life, because it's
Mhm.
so easy to kind of get used to being in survival mode that you
Yeah.
don't even realize you're in it. And another thing
Mhm.
I want to add is, I don't know what the statistics are, maybe you do, of autoimmune diseases are most often triggered by stressful periods in your life.
Yeah, a lot of things are. I think there's statistics also on a lot of times people that die from cancer have had a significant stressful event within the year to 6 months prior to their diagnosis of cancer. It makes sense if you think about it too with autoimmunity, because significant stress has a significant impact on your gut, okay? And your gut plays a big role in autoimmunity. So it makes sense. Yeah. And
Hmm.
it is a big factor. It's all connected, right?
Right.
Sleep impacts every facet of your health and every body system. Your gut microbiome impacts every facet of your health and every body system. And so does stress. And that's why we say, like, these are the 5 pillars to healthy aging. They all matter and it's all connected. And if we can be, making small changes, again, we don't expect things to get overhauled overnight. Just start making small changes in one part of your life, and it really does have that ripple effect moving outwards that makes a big impact in your overall health. Just getting more and better sleep can make a huge difference in your gut and how your body handles stress, even, right? So they talk to each other. It's all connected, and one small change definitely has ripple effects in connecting to other areas of your health.
Right. And I think it is a good opportunity to kind of think outside the box, because sometimes when you're, like, let's take stress, when you're in survival mode, it's like, oh, I can't possibly change anything. But you can if you look outside of the box. Maybe that's asking for help. Maybe that's
Mhm.
cutting out a commitment, like that. It's just more stressful to
Yeah.
you in the long run, saying no. It's easier said than done. I know. I've been there. I was there.
Yeah.
Or like adding in 2 minutes of the extended breath work. Like,
Yes.
it's crazy. You were talking about in a previous episode how doing that, you literally saw your heart rate go down.
Yeah.
So just stuff like that, think outside the box.
Don't underestimate the power of one simple small change, because it really does make a big difference. In the moment, sometimes it feels insignificant, but when you continue to be consistent with it, doing that 2 minutes of extended exhale breathing and allowing your heart rate to, reach a lower level for a certain period of time, you're shifting your body into that parasympathetic rest and digest mode. And that's where the healing magic happens. So if you can get into that mode, even if it's just for a couple minutes a day to start, if you're used to living your entire life in that sympathetic dominance, fight or flight mode, even just allowing your body a couple minutes a day is a great starting point, and then it'll just build from there.
Right.
So to wrap it up, healthy aging isn't about a huge overhaul overnight. It's about consistent, intentional choices that stack up over time.
So, as we said, pick one pillar to focus on this week and just start there. Progress over perfection.
And if you want some inspiration for easy, doable daily habits, our Daily Glow Rituals Guide is a great place to start. We'll link it in the show notes.
Here's to feeling stronger, sharper, and more confident this month and for decades to come.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Midlife and Glowing.
If you loved this episode, it would mean the world to us if you'd follow the show, leave us a review, or share it with a friend who's glowing through midlife right alongside you.
Let's make it our best era yet. We'll see you next time.